Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm JD Hoovener, and welcome to the Bold Lawyers Show. I'm here with this new format for attorneys or anyone who may be aspiring to be an attorney. This show is going to be featuring live interviews with founders of bold lawyers from around the country. They're oftentimes solo or small firms. They're just getting started, or maybe they're well on their way, but they have figured it out. They figured out something, and they want to be able to share that with you, the audience. So we want this to be interactive. So if you happen to watch this live on Facebook, on Instagram, or YouTube, I'll be prioritizing any live questions and asking that of myself, who I'm the owner here at Bold Patents Law Firm. Which way am I pointing? And the guest as well. You're welcome to ask her any questions. So as you probably saw from the title, we're going to have a special guest. Her name is Isaro Carter, owner at the Carter Law Firm, and we'll be doing an interview with her. So let's bring her on to the show. Isaro, welcome.
Hi, thank you, JD. Hello, everyone. It's actually
Yeah.
evening.
Oh, you got the wind blowing in your hair and everything.
I'm
Looking
sorry.
good.
It's just really hot in New
Okay.
York right now, and the way my AC is set up is,
Hey, all
it's just
good.
really hot.
Very good. Well, and this is going to go to the podcast listeners too. So they're missing out. They're missing out. So
Oh,
if you're listening on the podcast and you want to catch our show live, we're here Tuesday afternoons, 2:30 on the West Coast and 5:30 on East Coast. So it's Saro. You are the owner at the Carter Law Firm, and you
mhm.
said New York. That's where you're based out of.
Yes, New York
Okay.
City.
Awesome. And I didn't give you much prep time at all. I just emailed you today. I was like, hey, I had a cancellation. Can you please be on the show today? So thank you so much for being a good sport and
Of
being willing
course.
to share some time. I know it's precious. So we can go lots of different directions with this show. We keep
Mhm.
it pretty general. If we do get any live questions, we will kind of answer those as we go. But I love starting with
Mhm.
a founder story,
Mhm.
kind of having you explain and walk us through why you set up the firm, maybe what was the initial spark that got you thinking about owning your own practice. And
Mhm.
for anyone out there that might be thinking about hanging their own shingle, what are some things you can share? So give us that founder story first.
Okay, no problem. So, um, pretty much like I've always known that eventually at some point in my career that I'd be working for myself. Um, I just never knew what capacity like that would, I guess, take form in, but around 2020, I was working for a firm. I was doing actually family law, matrimonial, and criminal law at another small firm. Um, and stuff was like drying up because, in around March in New York, that's when like the lockdowns and everything were happening because of the pandemic. And so I was looking around at, the little bit of work that was coming in, and then I was looking at my boss who had also been my mentor since before I got to law school. Her name was Midwin Charles, and I was looking at her, she was looking at me, and I was like, what are we gonna do? And she was like, whatever it is that you decide to do, if you want to, do business development and have some clients come in, if you want to start something on your own, you are more than welcome to. She was really great. She pretty much supported me in everything that I did. She was kind of like my legal mom, my legal fairy godmother. And eventually I decided, okay, well, now is a good as time as any to start my own law firm if that's what I want to do and if that's how self-employment is going to take shape in my life. So I did it and I told her, and she supported me through and through. She kicked me some clients. She gave me every single resource under the sun that she had used to start her own firm after leaving Big Law. And
That's
yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
Wow. What's her name again?
Her name was Midwin Charles. So
Edwin
unfortunately, she
Charles.
passed away in 2021.
Oh my goodness.
Um,
Okay. Sorry to
but
hear.
she was truly like the catalyst to getting that done. And at the time that I decided to get it done.
Okay. Got it. So it was actually family law practice.
Yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Got it. And that is not what you're doing now, is it?
No, I do entertainment now.
How did you make that change? Okay, I didn't know that actually. By the way, sorry, you
Mhm.
and I are in a mastermind together. We get to chat
Yes.
about all kinds of things, and that is one of the reasons why I started this show. Is I want to get some of that learning, some of that things that everyday founders, owners of firms, they don't get to talk about or learn
Mhm,
about. It seems like it's all hidden and behind closed doors. So,
mhm,
thank you again for being here for sharing that story. But let's first go there. How did you
mhm.
go from family law to entertainment law?
Got it. So, to be honest, entertainment was where I started. And so before law school, I just always knew I was going to work in the entertainment industry. In fact, the way that I met Midwin was through an entertainment boot camp that I had done in undergrad. It was like the year 2015, and I was a part of the Women in Entertainment empowerment networks, like summer boot camp, just for college aged young women who were never exposed to the entertainment world before, but wanted to, get their foot in the door. So she was a guest professor at one point, and
This is before law school?
oh yeah, this was before law school.
So
I
this
was
isn't even necessarily legal related. You're just entertainment. Just
entertainment
okay.
down, because even before then, right, I thought that, I was gonna be a doctor. I was going to med school until like Orgo came in and told me that I would not be going to med school. So like I just changed courses, and I was like, okay, I might as well just follow my dreams and my passions. Like I come from a family that is very, very entertainment oriented, and like very much in the performing arts and the visual arts. We have musicians, we have dancers, we have painters. We just have everybody. Like everybody's doing something. Um, I was not blessed with the talent, but I could read and write really well.
Yeah,
And
right.
I can make a hell of an argument.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, let's try our hand at a different profession. Like, let's see where I could find my footing in the law behind these things, because even at the time, like growing up, I would see, my family members going through things, and I would even see some of my favorite entertainers going through transactions where they were getting the short end of the stick. Their ideas were getting taken from them, their intellectual property was getting taken from them. And I was like, "Ugh, this is your bread and butter. Like, how are you supposed to, make a living and like sustain yourself off of this if there are all these pitfalls that are kind of designed for you to fall into, because you don't understand, right? Like the legal jargon, you don't understand the business aspect of things. So that's where I found my niche. Like that's where I found where I can fit in. Um, and so once Orgo wasn't, like once the med school stuff wasn't going to work for me, I was like, okay, the law I can definitely do. And so, yeah, that's how I got into that. And every single internship and every single job that I had, in undergrad, it was just entertainment oriented, and it was in different facets of the entertainment industry. And then even in law school, when I was doing my externships and internships, entertainment straight. Except for one time where I tried to make sure that entertainment was exactly what I wanted to do. And so I did crimmigration at a nonprofit.
Crimmigration.
Yeah, so like the intersection of criminal law and
Sure.
immigration.
Okay.
And it was very fulfilling and very impactful work. But for the same reason why I left family law and matrimonial stuff is why I decided not to go down that route.
Right.
It's very emotional. Um, and like there are a lot of really huge and heavy issues that go on. Some of the ugliest parts of humanity, like you'll see play out in these spaces. And it was really hard for me to not take that home with me.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, let me just go back to what my passions are and do something, it's not as light, but a little lighter.
Yeah. Quite a bit. Yeah. That's
Just
heavy for
do
sure.
this.
Right. 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 Yeah. I guess that's something I sort of almost take for granted. The type of work that we now do, intellectual property,
Mm,
patent law. It's all opportunistic. It's happy.
mhm,
There's no one's mad when we
mhm,
get hired. So we got a random LinkedIn user. I'm impressed with your level of knowledge. Wow, amazing. Very nice.
Well,
I assume you're talking about our guest today.
well, if they're talking about both of us, they would be accurate in the level of knowledge. So thank you.
Very good. Okay, so let's see. So went back to your roots, entertainment. Some of those people are out there, maybe they're still at a big firm, and they're like, how would I even land my first client? You mentioned there were some introductions you got from your previous firm, but how did you kind of get those first or won their first client in entertainment?
So I think that everybody in entertainment will kind of say the same thing, like whether you're a lawyer or even if you're an A&R at a company, or an agent, right? It's always going to be somebody that you know. Like your connections are going to be everything. Your network is going to be everything. Like I said, right, like growing up, I was just kind of entrenched in the performing arts and the visual arts. So there were a lot of people around me who were creating things, but didn't necessarily know a lawyer. Or right, like have an entertainment accountant or just anything like that. They were just doing it out of the love of these things and not even realizing that they really could have a sustainable career in this. So my first client was actually a family friend.
Perfect.
Yeah, and she's still my client today,
All
and
right.
she's one of it's like she's a union member for WGA, so she's on strike now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Catch me up to speed. What's going on with the strike? How is that affecting her and all your clients, I guess?
Yeah. So pretty much like the way that these strikes work is all of these different unions that exist in Hollywood, they
Just for you.
well thank
I'm
you.
awesome too, but all the love going for you. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna interrupt you. Go ahead.
So the way that all of these unions work in Hollywood is that like for every set amount of years, the studios and the people who are in the union come to an agreement. And that's going to be their standard agreement. And it sets like how much people are paid, how many hours they're going to be working, like just what is I guess, like what are the parameters of this employment and what are the parameters of payment. And this year, the Writers Guild of America, they had greater demands that they wanted. And in my opinion, rightfully so, they would like to be paid more. They would like to, well, and this is kind of just like the overhead view of like some of these bigger issues. They would like to be paid more because the executives keep getting paid more money and their rates haven't raised for a very long time. And inflation is kind of killing like what they are being paid now. Also, AI is a huge issue right now, like generative AI, with the things like Chat GPT and like companies like Stability AI and like things that are out there that are creating essentially some of the things that they are able to create, not at the same level at this point, but we know technology, right? Like in the direction that it's going, they want to make sure that their jobs are going to be safe and that they're going to have security in the future with, like these looming issues. And there are so many other things going on. And so, the studios, well, a lot of studios haven't come to an agreement with them yet, and they are at the negotiation table. And unfortunately, we're kind of at a stalemate right now because you see them, they're still striking in the streets like since May, the Writers Guild.
Wow.
The actors just went on strike a couple of weeks ago, and there are talks now, even as recently as today, that that's going to continue on until 2024. So,
Wow.
they
So
won't.
I know. So like, so studios would be, for example, like Paramount. Would that be?
Yeah, like Paramount and like Fox, like 20th Century Fox, and like Disney, like all of these big name like just production studios.
Why don't they just go direct to individual writers, or maybe they do?
Well,
Hire them in.
Because in Hollywood, the way that it works is that if you are a working writer and you're making a specific amount of money, you're eligible to be a part of the union. And the thing about the union is this is where people get their health insurance. This is where people get like, like their benefits and things like that. And like the union is where you want to be.
Okay,
like
so
when you're working, right? Like the union is where you want to be. And you make a great point. Why aren't they going directly to some of these
Hiring their own writers in house. I mean, maybe they've got some, but
right? Well, they don't. I guess just because of like the way that the economy like just kind of works in
yeah,
Hollywood. But to your point, right? Some of these networks, um, they've actually, at least on the soap operas, right? Something that I was reading earlier, the soap operas are actually hiring scab writers. Now the problem with being a scab, twofold, and it's manyfold, but two overarching ideas. One, being a scab, you're never going to be in the union.
and
They will
scabs are
never
like
accept
a
you.
temporary. Is that what that means?
Well, you are a non-union writer who has crossed the picket line.
Got it. So so nobody in the union likes you. You're
And you're not going to be able to join
got it.
it.
So you have burned a bridge.
Ever.
Okay.
Yeah, that bridge is burnt. That ship has sailed. Um,
Do you ever represent scab writers, or that's maybe not based on the way I'm hearing you?
I mean, not me personally. And that's just my personal thing. I'm in solidarity with creators in the creator economy. That's why I went into intellectual property, like in entertainment, like to begin with. I am with creators. Um, but then like also the issue with that is you have more protection, at least the way that I see it in my understanding of just like the labor effort and like go all the way back to the industrial revolution, like up to now, right? Like you have a bit more protection in a union going up against like these big studios than you do as an individual.
For sure. I remember I was at Boeing before I became as an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Before I became a lawyer, and there was an engineering union, and it was great. It's like they had all the research and they had all the negotiating power, right? An
Exactly.
individual is going to get just probably junk, not as good benefits or pay. So they've got the advantage, right? And then the lever they can really pull is doing just what they're doing now, which is pay the price,
Exactly. The
right?
most leverage that you have, like as an individual non-union writer who is intending to scab,
Yeah.
is that moment where you decide, and then from there you can be exploited however you want. You don't have the negotiating power.
Yep. Yep. Awesome. Thank you for going deep on that.
No problem.
So let's pull back. Let's go back into law firm a
Mhm,
little bit. So let's
mhm.
say, what are some of the as you got started, maybe like year one or year two? What are some of the big golden nuggets, big lessons learned that you could pass along to our audience, kind of looking back as you started out?
Some of the biggest lessons. I know that a lot of people who are thinking of like making that plunge and making that jump, um, they kind of like, like there's a little bit of fear mixed up into that. I mean, the scary part really isn't starting it. It's really easy to just start, right? Like the mechanics of starting. It really is like just getting clients in the door and things like that. So one of my biggest tips I would say is it doesn't matter if all you have is a website and a business card. You might not even have a real like working functional office space. Go network. Go tell people that like you're out there, Go start building up your network, start building up your contacts. Let people know that you're around and that you're available and that you can help. Um
Who did you network with? I mean, let's just go. I mean,
mhm.
if you don't mind, I mean, because this is
Yeah.
because I have actually a little block in my calendar for networking, and I end up kind of
Mhm.
going to the same kind of folks. But what do you for who did you network with?
No problem. So I network with I would say, like, I would start by saying, like, just two primary groups, right? Like, other attorneys, and then also people who are, right? Like, the people that I would be working with. So, when it comes to other attorneys,
Potential clients,
um,
you're saying, potential clients.
right,
Okay.
exactly.
All
Yeah.
right.
Um, so when we're talking about attorneys, right? Like I joined the executive committee of like some of these different bar associations, right? So like I am the secretary of the entertainment and sports law section of the New York State Bar Association, and I've been that since 2019, right? So now we're talking before I even started the firm. I was laying that foundation, and that is one of the best places I think, especially if you're just starting out, to um to just network with others, because I think what you're going to miss from being at a firm and then now working on your own is the collaboration aspect of things and being able to just walk into someone's office and, ask a quick question here and there. You're going to have to know other attorneys that you're going to be able to pick up the phone, ask a question, to like send an email and be able to get a response, right? Like the same day, like build those relationships and allow them to share with you, like, the knowledge that they have about, what it is that they're doing. Like, even for example, right, like the mastermind that you started that I'm, a member of.
Right.
I'll do that too, because there are plenty of attorneys that have walked this road before. And, I'm a very firm believer in that you don't have to learn everything firsthand through like personal experience.
Right.
You can learn from the experiences of others, and it can save you a lot of time. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what people are listening here, hopefully maybe watching after the fact, are hoping to get from you. So, okay, this is good. This is really good. So you actually networked with potential clients. And I mean, I was always scared to do some of that because of like these, the special, you can't go solicit or poach.
Exactly.
But, and so I kind of hid behind this digital advertising marketing content thing. But I imagine entertainment law, like, it's in person.
Yeah.
Or, a lot of that times events. What are some things? Did you sponsor events? I mean, or just go hang out at certain places? How do you network with potential clients?
So you're right, like about that soliciting thing. I don't do any of that.
Lawyer, yeah.
I'm in the room around people who essentially, right, like are my peers, but I'm also a geek for the entertainment industry. So I actually am very interested in what these people do. So I'm going into these rooms and I'm asking them about what it is that they do and how they got started and why do they love like the facet of the entertainment industry that they love. And then because of regular conversation, people ask me questions about what I do, and I just tell them what I do. And if they're interested in what I do, then I'm like, okay, well, this is where you could go and find that. We don't have to talk about this today. And I'm not hounding you. And then I walk away,
Awesome. That's very good. There's no hard sell. That's perfect. So it's just you being curious and interested in the area of law that you're in. I guess that seems obvious. I guess that's kind of like me. I used to go to the CES, Consumer Electronics Show, just to go have fun, go see what all the new gadgets and stuff are out there. And yeah, I did happen to have my business cards, but you're right. That was the easiest way to go, is when if they do happen to ask me what I do. Oh yeah, I'm doing this, by the way. And so it's after truly being interested and caring about what they're doing. So
yeah. And to be honest, I am interested in what other people are doing and how the landscape is changing, because that directly affects the clients that I already have. Like, and I go to like these educational networking events where, they're talking about developments. They're talking about the new movies that are coming out. Like, they're just talking about everything that's happening in entertainment. I want to know, because if I'm worth my hourly rate, I better know.
Yeah. Okay. Not just continuing legal education, but continuing education within your industry and niche. That's a big point right there. Okay, so you mentioned okay, so that's kind of the big lessons learned. What are some of the ways that you are trying to grow your practice? And I know that can be something some people want to do. As you kind of put chart the course, what are some things that you're trying to do now, maybe struggling with, or maybe they're having some success with when you're trying to grow?
So for me personally, it's how I tackle my marketing, because again, I never want to fall into the realm of solicitation. But I also want people to know that I'm here and I'm available. Like, I'm taking new clients, and also positioning myself as somebody who knows what they're talking about, without giving legal advice and, going into that realm of, that attorney client, like building that relationship when I am doing things. So one of the things that I'm figuring out right now is my digital marketing, like mapping that out and what that's going to look like. For a long time, I was doing it by myself. And I guess like 2 years really isn't a long time, but it felt like a long time.
Yeah.
Given
Yeah,
all the things.
can I show your website?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
let
of
me
course.
let me share a screen, and I'll flash it up here so people can see it, and I'll put that
Hmm.
in the link as well. But
Hmm.
this was recently redone, right?
Yeah, this was redone in 2023. The first two iterations of this website were not great, but it worked. Okay, the links worked and all of the information was there. And, I was proud of it because I had done it myself. And I would let people know, hey, this is who I am, this is what I do. And I think that it was endearing, at least for the first couple of people that were working with me, because they signed up for consultations and they're still my clients today. So it
Right.
works.
No, I think this looks really clean, and I love
Thank
it.
you.
And you're not hiding, with your specialty, right? Creatives, I like that
Hmm.
a lot.
Hmm.
That's what you're looking
Hmm.
for, hey, creatives. So,
Hmm.
um,
I like to
excellent.
speak directly to the people that I want to work with, because I think specifically when it comes to creatives and just like people who make things because of their love for the things that they are creating in the space that they're in, um, they can be very emotionally like attached to it. And I think that sometimes being a lawyer, um, there's a disconnect with like right, like that empathetic side of things, and then like also like the business side of things. And like I think that I do, at least like my clients tell me, right, that I do a really good job of taking care of like their ideas and their creations, like as if they were my own, or they were like my own family members, because at the end of the day, like they have poured their hearts and souls into these things. So like I always try to make that come across in like what my marketing is. And if you want like the kind of lawyer who doesn't care about that, I'm not your girl.
Right?
But
Yeah.
you know,
Okay, so it is just you for now.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And that keeps it really simple. Do you
Well, me
envision
and my social media manager, who I just got a couple
Hey,
months ago. So whatever you see on Instagram and on TikTok and stuff, I just showed up and I gave like the legal information. She put it together in that pretty package, and she did the
okay.
strategy on it. So
I saw a couple of your TikToks. They look pretty
mhm.
cool. Very, very informal style. You're just laying it out for people.
Yeah.
So this is your TikTok right there, carterlawfirm.co, right?
Mhm,
That's
mhm,
you. Cool. I've started to do some of those as well. I
mhm.
think it's fun. You have to try to be where your clients are. Some of
Exactly.
those newer platforms. So let's take the last few minutes there and talk about that. And
Mhm,
even though it is a social media as a contractor or third
mhm,
party, how did you go about hiring that? How is that process for you? What are some lessons learned if someone's looking to do that and they're solo, they've been doing the social media on their own?
mhm,
Why did you choose to hire someone? I know
mhm.
it's early, but has it paid off? What do you like about it?
Um, I'll start by answering the question that you said of like why like hire somebody like so early on. Um, I think that when it comes to like my business, but really just like any business, right? The person who starts it, they started because like they're really good at this like one thing. But I think that what makes a business succeed, and what makes it live, right? Like it doesn't eat itself, is being able to, as quickly as possible, hire experts at like the different factors that go into like operating the business and like bringing in new business. The lawyering thing, I have my credentials. I'd say that I'm pretty good at that.
It's
Um,
okay, absolutely. That's your thing,
you
right?
know,
Yeah.
yeah, but lawyering is my thing. Um, Social media strategy, not so much. Graphic design, not so much. Video editing, no. Like I'm not good at that. I think that in the early iterations of my social media, that showed. And anytime like I put my name to something, I really just want it to be the best version of
Mhm.
it. And I knew that I wasn't the person to be able to give it the best version of that. So I just I had to hire somebody. And how I chose the social media manager that I work with now, I knew that number one, I wanted a contractor because I don't think that my business is ready for employees yet. And I think that that's a personal decision that each law firm will have to make for itself. Just run the numbers and see what works.
Yeah.
But a lot of research went into looking for this person. I wanted somebody who would understand, first and foremost, me, my voice, and what I'm trying to communicate to, you know, my target demographic. And then second, understand who my target demographic is. Like, of course, I have that information and, like I give that to them and, talk it out. But I also wanted them to understand like how to do research on that target market and understand like how they interact with social media and which platforms are they really on, like someone who really understands social media. And then three, somebody who would really understand that specifically, like when you're working with a law firm, there's a lot of red tape that we kind of have to work around. A lot of disclaimers, a lot of disclosures. There's certain things that I can't say and, certain things that I can't do. But then how do we get creative enough in this creative economy to still, get the message out and still have like the right strategy so that people understand that I do know what I'm talking about, but I can't just, say something that is specific to like people's situations. So
Yeah. No, thank you. That's awesome. And I know it's been a struggle. Do you think it's working? Having someone else take it? It sounds like that's the big advice. The bottom line is, if you found something you're not necessarily good at or don't enjoy,
mhm,
look
mhm,
to delegate, right?
mhm,
Look to hire
mhm.
someone. What would you say? Is it so far so good?
It is a match made in heaven, I would
Yeah,
say.
that's awesome.
It really is. And I am so grateful for her. She went on vacation for a week and I was flailing and I was like,
Okay.
I need you back. Please come back. And so she's back now. And so, it's all systems go. But it's great. Like she really gets it. And she also is like a Gen Z millennial cusp. So she also understands the online speak that I'm trying to communicate. And it just works out just all across the board. It's really great. It's a great time.
Good, good. Okay, we're gonna wrap up the show. Unfortunately, our half hour is come to a close. If
Mhm,
someone wants to get a hold of you, we had a
mhm,
few live viewers here. Anyone that
mhm.
might watch this afterward, can I give out your email address to
Absolutely.
reach out?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I've got Hisaro at carterlawfirm.co.
Mhm,
All right, I'll share that. So you guys are welcome to reach out to her via email if you have any questions about maybe the social media contractor she's working with, or anything with respect to Writers Guild or the strikes going on, or just starting up your own practice. I'd be available as well. So you're welcome to email me. Here's my email. Isaro, I'm so glad you're part of my mastermind. I don't have to stop here. Uh, we get to continue on. If you're out there and you're an attorney practicing and you want to know more about this mastermind, send me an email. We may be able to do an interview, see if you got what it takes
Yeah.
to be a part. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on the show, Sarah. It's been great
Thank
having
you for having me, JD. I
you.
appreciate it.
All right, you take care, and bye everyone. Take care. Have a
You
good
too.
day.
Bye, everyone.